I'm Susumu, and I will talk about round-efficient black box construction of composable multi-party computation. All right, so let me start from the introduction of MPC. So in MPC, there are several mutually distrustful parties, and the goal of MPC is to allow these parties to compute any function on their input by communicating with each other. And the security of MPC is formalized by a beautiful paradigm called the simulation paradigm. And this security guarantees many properties, such as correctness of the output, and the privacy of the input, and the independence of the input. And this security is held even when a majority of the parties are corrupted by a polynomial time adversary. And MPC is a fundamental notion in cryptography. And so now we have a huge number of works on MPC. However, in the case of a malicious adversary with a dishonest majority, many MPC protocols are considered to be impractical. And this is because many MPC protocols is not efficient because of the use of expensive NP reduction. Then, approach toward a practical MPC protocol is black box construction. In black box construction, cryptographic primitives are used only a black box way. And because of this, black box construction has a nice property. In black box construction, no NP reduction is used in the protocol. And so, because of this nice property, black box construction is potentially more efficient than non-black box one. And so, black box construction is considered to be an important step toward a practical MPC protocol. And recently, several work have studied black box construction of MPC. And now we have a constant round protocol based on semi-honest OT. So I want to note that this is a very good result, since it shows a protocol with optimal round complexity and a minimum assumption. But I also want to know that the security in this protocol, the security is proven in the standard setting. And so this protocol is secure only when a single protocol is executed at each time. But unfortunately, today, standard security is not sufficient in some cases. And this is because today the world is concurrent setting, and many parties execute many protocols at the same time. So in order to use MPC protocol in today's network like the internet, we have to achieve concurrent security, which guarantees security even in the concurrent setting. And currently, the strongest formalization of concurrent security is UC security. So it is good if we have a UC-Secure MPC protocol. However, it was shown that UC security is too strong, and it is impossible to construct a UC-Secure MPC protocol in the plain model. And then, to overcome this impossibility result, Prabhakar and Sahai proposed a relaxed version of UC security called NGL-based UC security. And since this NGL-based UC security is a relaxed version of UC security, it is slightly weaker than UC security. However, it still guarantees meaning security in many cases. And in particular, it guarantees a good property called composability. And in addition, in NGL-based UC security, it is possible to construct MPC protocol in the plain model. And in previous work on NGL-based UC security, non-black box construction were first studied. And now we have a log-n round protocol based on trapdoor computation. And subsequently, in Crypto 2012, Lee and Pass shows that there also exists a black box construction. And this protocol is based on semi-honest OT, and its random complexity is n to the epsilon. And so I want to note that the result of LP12 is great, since it shows a protocol that is black box, concurrently secure, and based on minimum assumption. However, currently, between black box construction and non-black box construction, there exists a gap on the random complexity. And so closing this gap is a very interesting and important problem. And so in this work, I studied the problem of closing this gap. And I narrowed this gap by showing a log square round protocol. So roughly speaking, in this work, I show that even in the concurrent setting, a black box technique is almost as powerful as a non-black box one. All right, so this is the main theorem of this work. So in this work, I constructed a log square and black box construction of concurrent secure MPC protocol. All right, so from now, I will go to the technical part of this work. So from previous work, we know that in engine-based security, MPC can be constructed in black box way from semi-honest OT and a commitment scheme called CCA-Secure commitment, which I will explain shortly. And roughly speaking, this is because in engine-based UC security, MPC can be constructed from OT. And angel-based UC secure OT can be constructed by compiling a semi-honest OT with CCA-Secure commitment. And in this work, I constructed the log square and the CCA-Secure commitment. And then by using this result, I obtained log square and MPC protocol. And so the main technical part of this work is the construction of this CCA-Secure commitment. All right, then, before explaining how to construct CCA-Secure commitment, I first explain what CCA-Secure commitment is. So CCA-Secure commitment is a commitment analog of CCS encryption. So roughly speaking, a commitment scheme is CCA-Secure if its hiding property hold even when the adversary interacts with the oracle that receives a commitment from the adversary and return the committed value to the adversary. Then I constructed our CCA-Secure commitment as follows. So first, I show that CCA-Secure commitment can be constructed in a black box way from two building blocks, concurrently commitment scheme and a non-malleable commitment scheme. And here, I require that concurrently commitment scheme satisfy additional good property, and the non-malleable commitment scheme satisfy a slightly strong security. But unfortunately, a previous scheme do not satisfy our requirement. So in this work, I also show that the two building blocks can be constructed from one-way function. And the random complexity of the two building blocks is log n. And in this case, the random complexity of the CCA-Secure commitment becomes log square n. All right, so in more detail, I will explain how to construct CCA-Secure commitment from building blocks and how to construct these two building blocks from one-way function. So let me first explain how to construct CCA-Secure commitment. So this is a very, very high-level idea of a scheme. So recall that a commitment scheme is CCA-Secure if its hiding property hold, even when the adversary interacts with the commitment extraction oracle. And then I use a non-malleable commitment scheme so that the commitment in the left side is independent from the commitment in the right side. And also, I use a concurrently commitment scheme so that the committed value in the right side are extractable from the adversary by rewinding the adversary. Then I know that when the committed value in the right side are extractable by rewinding the adversary, we can emulate the commitment extraction oracle, since we can emulate the answer of the oracle by extracting the committed value. And then, by using the fact that left side and right side are independent, and the fact that oracle can be emulated in polynomial time, we show that oracle is useless for breaking the hiding property. So CCA security follows from the hiding property. But the problem of this idea is that when the right side is ruined during the emulation of the oracle, the left side is also ruined, since the adversary interacts with the left side and the right side at the same time. And so, even when the oracle can be emulated in polynomial time, we cannot reduce CCA security to the hiding property, because in the left side, hiding property doesn't hold because of the rewinding. Then I solved this problem by using a technique called the robust extraction technique. And the idea of this technique is that when CCOM is sequentially executed many times, we can guarantee that at least one of them can be ruined without rewinding the left side. So by using this technique appropriately, we can show that we can solve the problem of the rewinding left side. And so we can show the CCA-Security as I explained in the previous slide. And since this technique requires the sequential execution of concurrently secure commitment, the round complexity of the CCA-Secure commitment becomes the square of the round complexity of the concurrently secure commitment. All right, so this is part one of my technique. So next is a construction of normally commitment scheme. But since this is a very easy task, in this talk I skip this part. So for detail, please see the paper. So finally, I go to the construction of a concurrently secure commitment scheme. And I first explain what good property is required in this work. So first, I note that in general, accepted commitment is not always valid. So in other words, even when the receiver doesn't abort in the commit phase, it is possible that the commitment do not have valid committed value, and so commitment cannot be open to any value. Then, since such accepted but invalid commitment do not have valid committed value, it would be good if the extractor always output abort from such a commitment. But unfortunately, in previous scheme, extractor can output any value from such a commitment. So not always output abort. And this problem is called over-extraction. And in this work, I require that in the concurrently secure commitment scheme, no such over-extraction doesn't occur. No over-extraction occur. So I require that the extractor always output abort from invalid commitment. And the reason why I require such a scheme is the following. So recall that in the CCA-Secure commitment, we use the CCOM to emulate the commitment extraction oracle. Then, since this oracle, by definition, extract the committed value by brute force, this oracle always output abort from invalid commitment. So in this oracle, over-extraction doesn't occur. And so because of this, in order to emulate this oracle with CCOM, we have to use CCOM such that over-extraction doesn't occur. And since previous work doesn't satisfy this requirement, I have to construct such a scheme. Then I constructed such a scheme as followed. So the starting point is the previous scheme of Mitch and Cho et al., in which over-extraction does occur. Then by using this scheme as a building block, I avoid the over-extraction by enforcing the committer to give valid commitment by using a technique called the cut and chew technique. So in more detail, I consider this scheme. So in this scheme, a committer computes a secret sharing of the value to be committed and commit to each share by CCOM on Mitch and Cho et al. And then, after receiving an index set gamma from the receiver, the committer opens the share chosen by gamma. And here, to avoid attack called the selective opening attack of the receiver, we enforce the receiver to commit to gamma at the beginning of the scheme. All right. In this scheme, I can show that if most of the CCOM commitments are valid, over-extraction doesn't occur. And roughly speaking, this is because if most of the CCOM commitments are valid, the extractor can extract most of the share from CCOM in the second round. And from these shares, extractor can check the validity of the whole commitment. And so extractor can output abort from invalid commitment. And also, I want to know that intuitively, it seems that most of the CCOM commitments are indeed valid. Since if there are many invalid CCOM commitments in the second round, at least one of them must be chosen by gamma. So the committer must not be open the of this commitment at the last step. But unfortunately, this is intuition wrong, and we cannot prove that most of the CCOM commitments are valid. So to see this, let us consider the case that committer gave 3 CCOM commitments in the second round, and 2 of them are invalid with non-negligible probability. Then at first sight, it seems that in this case, we can reach a contradiction. Because if we extract a committed share in the second round, we would obtain both S2 and bot. And so from them, we can say that the committed value of the first round must be 2. And so we can break the hiding property contradiction. But unfortunately, since in the second round, as a building blocks, I use a CCOM such that over-extraction does occur, any value can be extracted from invalid CCOM commitment. And so in particular, valid shares S1 and S3 can be extracted from invalid commitment. And so because of this, even when the committer gave many invalid CCOM commitment in the second round, we cannot reach a contradiction. And so we do not know how to prove that most of the CCOM commitments are valid. Then I solved this problem by using a commitment scheme called the weakly extract of commitment scheme. And this scheme has a nice property that accepted commitment is invalid with probability at most 1/2. Then I consider this scheme. So in this scheme, the committer also uses a weakly extract commitment scheme to commit to the shares. And the cut and choose technique is used to guarantee that the committer commit to the same value in CCOM and weakly extract commitment. Then, very, very roughly speaking, the analysis proceeds as follows. So assume that all of the weakly extract commitments are accepted, since otherwise receiver would abort. Then, since in this case, each of the weakly extract commitments are invalid with probability at most 1/2, the probability that many of them are invalid is negligible. So in other words, most of them are valid with overwhelming probability. Then, since cut and choose technique guarantees that the committed value of the weakly extract commitment and the weakly extract commitment are the same, when most of the weakly extract commitments are valid, most of the CCOM commitments are also valid. And then, as I said before, when most of the CCOM commitments are valid, we can show that over-extraction doesn't occur, since the extractor can check the validity of the commitment by extracting committed share in the second round. So in this way, I can show that this scheme is concurrently extractable without over-extraction. So I obtained the scheme that I required as a building block of a CCA-Secure commitment. All right, so this is the end of the talk. So I give a summary. So in this work, I constructed the log square and black box construction of a Concurrently Secure MPC protocol. And to obtain such a protocol, I constructed the log square and black box construction of a commitment scheme called the CCA-Secure commitment. All right, that is. Thanks.